Zamaka with 7 News in Boston. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Awesome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So, I know you don't have a lot of time. Can you tell us about the work that you do on the Orion spacecraft?
Yes, I'm leading a team that is building the cockpit of Orion, and particularly the displays and controls, which is the software that the crew will interface with when they return to the moon and go to Mars. So it's very exciting to do that.
How long have you been doing that? And it sounds like it's very extensive work.
It is very extensive work, and I've been working on this since 2005, so 14 years.
Wow. Okay, so I have to ask you, being from Manchester, how does it feel to receive so much support from people here in New England for the work that you're doing?
I'm very, very proud to represent New Hampshire and New England here in the Astronaut office, and we're very grateful for all the effort that's been done for the space program, both at the University of New Hampshire and also the 31 companies that are providing key components for the Orion spacecraft and the Orion program.
Can you talk a little bit about what those companies are specifically providing?
Yes, for example, there's a company in Seabrook that's building the adhesives that are critical components for the booster rockets for the Space Launch System SLS booster.
Wow, that sounds so awesome. Okay, so you've obviously been to space, what, back in 2002?
I'm sorry, the volume has dropped out.
Oh, okay. I was saying you've been to space, right, back in 2002?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Oh, okay, hold on. They can't hear me. Barely? Can you talk a little bit about life in space?
Yes. Being in space is really an amazing experience, to look down at the Earth and to see the geography that we learned as school children, and to see it live moving below your eyes at 5 miles a second is truly wondrous. And you realize how beautiful the planet is, and how wonderful it is, and what a privilege it is actually to be alive at this time when we are able to extend humanity's range beyond the planet and make humanity a truly multi-planetary species.
Can you tell me a little bit about, being in space? What inspired you to even want to become an astronaut?
Well, the opportunity to help humanity extend its range from this little cradle we call Earth, and actually to be in the ground floor of that, as we all are in this era, that's something that's happened in our lifetime. And to be able to be a part of that was a wonderful opportunity that I was very privileged to be able to apply for and be able to become part of it in person, and to represent people around the world and their aspirations to participate in that program.
Okay, so we know obviously that NASA wants to put the first woman and next man on the moon by 2024. Talk a little bit about that process. It's something that's been playing out in the media, obviously.
Yes, that's going to be very exciting. That will be going to the south pole of the moon, which is, and that will happen in 2024. That will be using the Orion spacecraft that I'm working on, and the SLS system will be the boosters that will put people there. There'll also be a gateway habitat near the moon, and then a lander that will descend to the south pole of the moon, which is a very exciting place because it has, there are areas there that have almost perpetual sunlight. And there's also evidence that there's a very great deal of water there. So those are all things that are very important for maintaining or attaining and maintaining a sustained presence, which is what we need to do at this point.
Okay, I know I don't have much time left. Is there any interesting facts about outer space, Mars, the moon, that you would like to share with the public?
Yes, well, I would like to mention the fact the University of New Hampshire is building the Glimmer satellite that's going to give us a lot of very exciting information about sea coastal regions and algae blooms and all sorts of other things. And in fact, our NASA administrator is traveling to the University of New Hampshire later this month to meet with the team that's going to be building that satellite for NASA.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee Morin, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Dr. Morin, this is Mike Cherry. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being with us. I know our time's limited. Are we recording right now? Okay. Dr. Morin, I'll just start off with, you got the nice backdrop behind you. What do you miss about being out there in space on the moon? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Well, the thing that stands out the most is looking down at the Earth and seeing the beauty of our planet. It's really just a spectacular view, and to see that looking down at the atmosphere, you can see thunderstorms out on the horizon that are in this little bubble of our atmosphere. It's really a remarkable thing to view that.
Hold on 1 second, Doctor.
Standing by.
Okay, we no longer have an issue. Thank you so much. Do I have to ask him that question again? Okay. All right, Dr. Morin, let's talk about the present. What excites you when you start talking about the NASA program and what we're doing in space?
Well, this is a very, very exciting time to be working at NASA, and I'm very privileged to be leading a team that's building the cockpit for the Orion spacecraft, which is going to take people to the back to the area of the moon and also to Mars and beyond in the years ahead. And next year we have the first test flight of that vehicle, soon followed by the first manned flight. Since I was back a student at UNH in 1972, we're going to be having humans go out to the environment of the moon, and then having a woman and a man land on the south pole of the moon in 2024. So it's a very, very exciting time to be working at NASA.
As I know you're very familiar with, it's been a long time coming to finally get an American woman on the moon. Just talk about that aspect of it all and how big of a significant step that is for NASA.
I think having a woman land on the moon and having women totally participating in the office in leadership positions here at NASA is a very, very important step. And my female colleagues are all extremely capable people, and I really enjoy working with them. And it's a very, very significant step that a woman is going to be standing on the moon in our lifetime in the near future.
What is the significance of getting to the southern portion of the moon?
Yes, the southern portion of the moon has been called the most valuable real estate in the solar system. The moon is not tipped on its axis, so the tops of the mountains there have perpetual sunlight, which means that you have solar power all the time. And in addition, there are craters in the moon that have never seen the sun, and over the billions of years, they have filled with ice. And there are billions and billions of tons of ice down there, and water is so important for life, and also you can use it to make rocket fuel. And that is going to be one of the keys to having a sustained presence on the moon, is access to those billions of tons of water.
What are the New Hampshire connections? How are they helping all of this space exploration in its next step?
Yes, well, I'm proud to represent New Hampshire here in the Astronaut office. There are 31 companies that are building components for the Orion spacecraft and the launch systems, and their contributions of every one of those companies is very, very important, those subcomponents of the Orion spacecraft. In addition, the University of New Hampshire has a very active program, and they're building a satellite called the Glimmer that's going to be taking images of the coastal areas of the oceans. That's going to be so important for monitoring algae blooms and many other things. And in fact, our NASA administrator is going to be traveling up to UNH this August to meet with a team that's going to be building that satellite for NASA.
What are your thoughts on the next step for Mars exploration?
Well, Mars exploration is where we're planning to go, and going to the moon is a step in that path. Mars is a planet that is most like the Earth, And I'm looking forward to the day when we will have a sustained presence on Mars. We will be expecting to travel to Mars about a decade after we return to the moon.
Wow, so within our lifetime, you think?
I believe that's going to be within our lifetime.
Okay, I know our time's winding down. If you could return to orbit, return to space, what would you like to do next? What would you like to be a part of if you could just, again, enter space again?
I'll tell you, any role in space is wonderful. You know, it's like your golden retriever doesn't care whether he rides in the front seat or the back seat or the trunk. As long as he gets to ride in the car with you, he's happy. And that's the way astronauts feel about going into space.
That's a very unique perspective, and one that only an astronaut could provide. Dr. Morin, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.